Hey guys, it's Gus. And there's some information going around that it could be very misleading and cause people to waste funds on something that they shouldn't. The first one is I don't know why, but I have sold hundreds of these in the last 6 months. Hundreds, no joke. That's the Staff of Flowers. Um, for endgame, this is arguably the worst artifact in the game. I know some people will say something like the Cimarral, but the thing is, those are free. This artifact costs a lot of diamonds. Um, some people say, well, you can farm it. Well, then you just wasted diamonds by not selling it. At the cheapest on PS4, anyways, is 345, but I always sell my Epic, and yeah, for way too much. And people pay them, and I don't know why. There must be some guide out there saying that this is a good artifact. Well, if you join a failed, basically anything like a demo or whatever, you look around, you probably have 2 or 3 or even 4 more of these artifacts in the group. It's so bad. First of all, the slow has no effect whatsoever on any boss in the game that I know of, because every boss I know of is immune to control effects. Its damage is pitiful, right? It does 14, maybe 15 ticks. Watch this, ready? Oh, 3,000. Well, that was deflected. So we'll round it up to 6,000 of 15 hits. So that's like 90,000, right? Well, that's as much as one encounter. That's how bad that artifact is. It does nothing whatsoever for the group, and it's usually a sign that you have a lot of work to do on your build. It's bad, guys. I'm trying not to say it in such a negative way because I know a lot of players have it, but for a primary artifact, primary is one that you use, there's almost no artifact that's this bad. And what makes it even worse is how much people are spending to make this really bad artifact. A lot of information going around out there that's must be causing people to get this artifact. Its stats are okay, I mean, but nobody uses the artifacts really for the stats unless they don't have a set of anything. I mean, the stats are okay. They're not great. They're not worth 500,000 diamonds. Well, once you upgrade, it's probably closer to 1,000,000. There's nothing in here that says it's worth that much for stat wise. As an equip power, it's really, really bad. And it might be helpful if you're soloing or leveling, but the problem is you don't spend millions on your build for soloing and leveling, right? You spend millions on your build for endgame. There's no endgame build that I know of that this is a viable DPS or support primary artifact. It's that bad. Recommend you don't buy it. And if you're in a group like a demo and it's failed, almost in every single time you look around, there's multiple of these that in the group. Those are basically people that aren't contributing with the artifacts, and artifacts are way more powerful than what people think. The second thing is, so I'm saying that's the worst. I know there are some that are better, but they don't cost 500k like that one does. Is the Apocalypse set. This artifact, it can be in your secondary. The artifact just has to be equipped in one of these 4 slots. So this artifact, the Apocalypse Bindings and the Apocalypse Choker, is the best artifact set in the game at endgame. And endgame are bosses. Single target, right? This is the best artifact in the game. And there's information going around right now saying it's not. This artifact, every time you crit, the enemy gets a debuff, and it can have 5 of those debuffs. So a 5% damage debuff, which up almost 100% of the time. So everybody in the group hits harder, 5% harder, for almost 100% of the time. The downside about it, and what's so hard about this set, is you can't really build around it, because if that's the only set you have and somebody else that's the only set they have, the 2 sets really don't work well together, because the most you can have is 5 stacks. And the stacks are super quick. And if you hit 2 enemies at once, like I'll watch the debuffs on these. Oops, wrong power. Oh, I have the wrong weapon on. But if you watch the, it's that little dagger symbol in the debuff, and that's a 5, I think. Yeah, it's up every single time you crit. It just keeps refreshing it. It's such a good artifact. Set artifact, maybe not so much, but the set is amazing, and it's always a blessing when somebody does have it in the group. The damage, nobody that I know really uses it for that power right there. It just hit for 54, 47. Whoop-de-doo, right? But that's why you don't have it in your primary. You put it right down here in one of your secondaries. So, too long, didn't read. The Staff of Flowers, in my opinion, is the worst artifact in the game. The Apocalypse set is the best artifact set in the game. It's just very challenging to use the Apocalypse set because you really have to coordinate around it. And if you're in a group where you're kind of like, I'm not going to say carry because that can sound negative, but you're very much the strongest player in the group, you're really not buffing other players when you use it. So you're losing a lot more damage than what the group's gaining. So it's not always used, but for all endgame, when I say endgame, that single target, it's the best set in the game. The worst artifact in the game is the Staff of Flowers. There may be artifacts that have slightly worse effects, but they don't cost $1 million, $1 million diamonds. I mean, and so many players are using it. I don't know where people are getting this information. If it is good, please tell me I'm wrong below. I would love to see these comments. I've just never seen it in the last couple of years where it's viable. I do know that most failed runs have a bunch of those up because people think it's good. Anyway, stay classy, Neverwinter. See you soon.